right, the kid from Perrysburg, Ohio, goes on in 1997 to lead the Florida Marlins, a world championship, against the Cleveland Indians. Were you an Indians fan growing up in Perrysburg?
I was.
So how'd that feel?
Well, Perrysburg was about divided, half divided. Half of them were pulling for me, half of them were pulling against me. So, but it worked out good. Cleveland was my favorite team growing up.
Yeah, I love that Indian Joe mascot.
Oh yeah, it's great. They still got a good team there. Terry Francona is one of my favorite managers, one of my best friends. So, they're not doing quite as well as they have in the last couple of years, but they'll be in it at the end.
Do you remember in the old Saturday night skits, there was a baseball player that said, "Baseball been very, very good to me."
Yeah, that's right.
On Saturday Night Live for you younger folks watching in the 70s. Baseball been very, very good to you, Coach.
Yeah, great game. Very, very fortunate. Was not a good player, but stayed in the game, got a chance to manage eventually, and things worked out pretty good.
All right, so every successful person, whether they're selling cars or a librarian, has a quality that makes them good at what they do. Why was Jim Leyland a good baseball manager?
I think it's a people business. I think it's like any other business. You got to get people to work with you and work hard, be on the same page. I always said I never had players play for me, they played with me. And my coaches coached with me, they didn't coach for me. And I think it's a people business like any other walk of life.
Right. How do you handle a problematic player?
Well,
Do you look at him and say, "Look, get it together"? Or are you a more gentle?
Well, I think you try to do it in a private setting. You never do it in front of his peers or embarrass him in front of his peers if you can help it. I mean, forget about the bond situation, but that one that we had. But I think as long as you do it professionally and you don't embarrass him in front of his peers, his teammates, the media, it usually works out pretty good.
Right, and that's your job to bring the best out of them, right?
That's my job, is to get the best, make the players the best they can possibly be, and sometimes you got to be a little firm to do that.
Yeah, you do, like a drill sergeant.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody's a little bit different. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, okay, 97 World Championship, 3 Manager of the Years, not 1, not 2, 3 times. Favorite baseball memory you had? Maybe it was 8 years old and you met your favorite. What's your favorite?
My favorite memory was meeting Yogi Berra. He was my idol as growing up. I was a catcher, and I met Yogi Berra in Yankee Stadium in 1981, and consequently we became best friends. So I spent a lot of time with Yogi later on in his life and during my career, and that's the biggest thrill of my baseball career.
I had the chance at the Brian Gumbel Celebrity Tournament once to sit there with my mouth shut.
Right. Yogi
here and Joe Garriola here, just talking the old days, and I'm sitting there drinking my beer like, oh.
Yeah.
So meeting Yogi was one of my favorite experiences too.
Yeah. Great.
Well, we appreciate you coming to the Christian Sports International event. Stay out of trouble.
Okay.
And I mean like the weeds and the
water.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Very much.
One of the greatest skippers in Major League Baseball, Jim Leyland, Perrysburg, Ohio kid. You know what? The kid from Perrysburg done real good. And of course, he led your Pittsburgh Pirates on a great run too there in the early 1990s. Let me see if I can get Sid Bream and Coach Leyland together to talk about that infamous, well, for us in Pittsburgh, it was disastrous when Sid slid into home plate with that smile on his face. And for those people from Atlanta, Sid Bream will forever be their hero that took them to the World Series in 1992.